and welcome to the BSR Sports Podcast, World Sports Edition. Today, I'm joined by Patrick Leonard. Welcome, Paddy.
All right, Blair.
So, at the weekend, there was a massive retirement in the world of sports. We heard of Anderson Silva getting his last fight in the UFC. Dana White was obviously not happy that he let him fight, Anderson Silva being the age 46. But he was knocked out and he didn't have a chance, did he, Paddy?
Nah, I don't think he did. I think you can clearly see he's past it. He's had so many fights in his career, and he's 46, and you just saw the destruction that Uriah Hall put on, and it seemed to be easy for him, and I think he's just took too much damage throughout his career.
Yeah, honestly, I felt Anderson Silva, he was kind of strolling at the first couple of rounds. After the first couple of rounds, as soon as that, as many of the reporters said in the post-match interviews, as soon as that glass jaw get hit, his fight was over. He's 46 years of age. You can't expect much of him at that age. It seems he is really doing it for the money.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he get hit once, and as soon as he get hit with a thunderbolt off Uriah Hall, which we know he possesses, that was him. His fight was over. And apparently he was transported to hospital after. He couldn't even stand up for the post-match interview. So it's a poor one. I understand why Dana White's annoyed with himself, but I think we all wanted to see a last fight because Silva is a legend in this game. Aye.
I think the fans want to see a last win from him, because you've saw his last few fights he's lost. But as you said, you saw him the first few rounds coming forward, and he looked like he was going for Uriah Hall, trying to get that knockout, mate. But Uriah Hall was just picking his punches, and you just saw the power that he had once he caught him clean. He had him, didn't he?
We know Uriah Hall possesses that, but Anderson was far too easy. As I said, as soon as his glass jaw got hit, he was stumbling and he was all over the place. He was hanging. You seen him get knocked. He was so lucky. I think, was it the fourth or the third round?
The third round, I think he got knocked down, didn't he? And then the bell went. So
there's not 5 rounds. Sorry, what am I talking about?
Was it? It was a 5 round.
There was. I was a main event. It was. So what happened was it was the second round at the end, or the third round, he get knocked out, and at the very end of the round, he was hanging on. He was so lucky to stay in the fight because he was getting absolutely obliterated on the ground. And that's not the Anderson Silva I've grown up to know. It wasn't good to see. I don't like that. It was very similar. See, when Khabib was fighting Conor McGregor, and everybody was, nobody knew who. Well, we knew who Khabib was, but nobody knew how big Khabib was, how good he was. And it was very similar to the way watching McGregor get obliterated on the ground and just get absolutely ragdolled. Horrible to see for a legend of the sport, but as Dana said in the post-match interview, it's all about the money. As we've seen in the UFC, it's all about the money, and it really is just clinging on to. Apparently, he's making a packet. Must be in the millions for each fight. For a guy 46 years of age making a couple of million each fight, it is very, very impressive. And I think he knows his career's done. But if he can cling on to a couple of million a fight and he can get another couple out, that is obviously he has done that. He's scraped it. He has get beat in the last good amount of fights. I can't remember the last time Anderson Silva won, but Dana says his time's up now. This was his last fight. His contract's up after this fight. So where Anderson Silva goes from here, the question is if his family can talk him out of it. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for his UFC career after that fight, because it really just did show he's got nothing left in the tank. Whether he wants to fight to the death, if he's really that mad, he can maybe go to another company. But Dana says his time's up in the UFC.
I think Dana said that was his last fight in his contract, didn't he? With UFC. But he's had a great career, hasn't he? And he's had some great wins. He's had some big fights, made a lot of money.
Aye, you've got the likes of, remember Vitor Belfort?
Aye.
Oh my God, remember he annihilated him? Oh, unbelievable. Franklin as well. And Chris Laban, who's apparently got an iron jaw. What did they do to him? An iron man was supposed to have an iron chin, and the quote says, "Made an iron chin look like no chin."
Oh.
That was a quote that BT Sport had after that fight. It was ESPN actually. ESPN had that after that fight. So he's up there. He really is up there. And Dana was questioned about where he feels Anderson Silva is. He's definitely one of the GOATs according to the owner of the UFC, Dana. And if the owner of the UFC is saying that you're one of the GOATs and you're considered up there, you know that you've done well in your career. But it's time for him to go now. He needs to finish up. Aye. And it shows you how big he is, because personally, growing up, I got into the UFC from Anderson Silva. So if a young boy like me is getting into the UFC, knowing nothing, and seeing how good he is, and the nickname is Spider, how flexible he is, it shows you how much he's improved the UFC as a company as well. Many people talk about Conor McGregor. He's made the UFC. I feel McGregor's built on Silva's impact. McGregor's obviously had a massive impact, and he's doubled, tripled, quadrupled the size of the UFC. But before Anderson Silva, many people heard of the UFC. I think we all knew what the UFC was when McGregor was coming in, didn't we?
Cage fighting,
with the likes of Michael Bisping. Obviously, Michael Bisping is the UK fighter that we all know, but I knew Anderson Silva as well, just getting into it.
I know. I'm just saying, Conor McGregor, he was the one who got me into UFC, watching that, and I think McGregor, he got a lot of British fans involved.
Yeah.
He brought the attention to him, the British fans, and I think for the same way Anderson Silva is, like Dana said, they wouldn't have been able to branch out into like Brazil and do all those events in Brazil. And you see so many Brazilian fighters in the UFC. You've got your Jose Aldo and whatnot, Amanda Nunes. I think all of them would have looked up to Anderson Silva. He is, I'd say he's one of the top 5 best of all time UFC fighters.
Yeah, it's just not good to see him. It's not good to see him obviously get smashed and all that. Getting smashed repeatedly, even if it is for money. You don't want to see that. You want him to leave a legacy, and he's ruined his reputation by just keeping fighting at this age. It's just stupid. And Dana obviously said as well, Uriah Hall, he had 11 punches in the second round. He's not an offensive fighter. So if he was to move on from Uriah Hall and maybe go up, Dana said that was one of the easiest options for him.
Aye.
And he still get fucking annihilated off him.
Aye, sent to hospital. So
if obviously at the age of 46, I know we keep going on about the age of 46, but he can't be fighting at that age, and his UFC career definitely is up. And Dana says because of his legacy, he doesn't want to release him. He doesn't want to release him, but Anderson Silva, he does need to be the bigger man here and put his life first, because he's going to end up at this age. He will end up causing serious damage to himself if he steps in that ring again with somebody who poses the power of Uriah Hall. So another fight that happened at the weekend. Paddy,
I
think you took a good interest in this. Usyk v Chisora. How did that go?
It was a massive fight in the heavyweight division. Usyk's like the number 1 contender for Anthony Joshua, so he was going up against Derek Chisora, who's a great British fighter. He's been in a lot of big fights.
We spoke about it in last week's preview, obviously. Go and check that out if you haven't. It doesn't just cover last week's preview, it covers Khabib retiring, and we speak about Khabib and his mother, so that's highly talkable just now.
Aye. So, did you see it?
Aye. Oh my!
It was a good fight, mate. It was a good fight.
Oh, I was shocked, to be honest with you. I didn't expect that outcome.
Aye. I was rooting for Chisora.
Aye, well, same obviously, being for the homeland, but you knew about Usyk's fast feet, but I just thought Chisora would pose a bit more. Obviously getting beat off Dylan White, got Dylan White before. I thought it would be wanting. I thought Chisora, with all the talk he's been given, I thought Chisora would come out a lot faster, and nah.
He did seem to be trying to just take Usyk's head off, throwing big haymakers, and it's sort of like the Deontay Wilder style. Just
the way I'm saying faster is I thought it'd be more technical faster, like, but he was just stupid. It wasn't like, it annoyed me, to be honest, watching it. Chisora did annoy me, but don't take it away from Usyk. He done what was expected of him.
He had a good game plan. I think he was just, like you saw, Derek Chisora coming out the blocks and just trying to take Usyk's head off. But with the big punches he was throwing,
tired he sell out.
Exactly.
It was fucked.
He gassed.
It was absolutely fucked. It was done.
So Usyk was picking his punches and counter fighting, and you see his fast feet. He's lightening his feet.
Very similar to Anthony Joshua, I felt.
I think they'd have a great fight. That'd be a really close fight, I find. Like, Usyk is a good technical boxer.
It's not my type of boxing. I like the more UFC approach with the just go for it and take the other person's head off. But boxing, we've seen it with Joshua. We've seen it obviously on Saturday with Usyk. If you're going to play technical, and we've seen it all through Mayweather's career. The best boxer of all time, really. If you're going to do it technical and do it right, you're going to be successful. And I think that's what a lot of boxers are taking it off on now. We see Joshua. You remember the Joshua v Parker fight? And it was a big build-up, and it was going to be the best undefeated fight of all time. And it was embarrassing, like how bad it was. There was no offense on it, and it was just poor. It was just jab, 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 sit back, jab, jab, jab. And they weren't even connecting with jabs. It was just...
See, that's how you win a fight, like proper
it doesn't appeal
boxing,
to me.
But it's no good for the fans, is it? But I think
Usyk, technical boxing.
Yeah, I think Usyk brings that, where his style, he's quick in his feet. He looks light at heavyweight. You know, he's got good power, as you saw when he knocked out Tony Bellew, and he did catch Chisora a good few times. So I think he'll be good at heavyweight.
His fast feet, as we said last week, his fast feet caught Bellew out, and he's seen the exact same thing with Chisora. His plan is to tire their opponent out, let them swing hard, let them swing fast, and he done that, and it worked. It worked again for him. So Usyk deserves to get a higher up, a better shot now. Whether that is a title shot. What do you reckon?
I think we all want to see champion versus champion for the undisputed heavyweight championship. Tyson Fury versus Joshua. So I think Usyk might need to wait his turn if they try and make that fight. But I reckon he'll become heavyweight champion in a couple of years, maybe. I don't know. You might see Joshua. What does it do? They vacate a belt. He might vacate one of his belts to try and get that Tyson Fury fight. So
yeah, let's talk about that as well. What's your take on that? The Tyson Fury fight with Joshua. There was talk about it happening. When was it? Next year?
Next year. I think they're trying to agree sort of 2 fights with a rematch clause. That's the biggest fight in the world right now. I think it, because you've seen Tyson Fury recently against Deontay Wilder. Like, his first fight, he arguably won it when it was a draw. And in the second fight, he just boxed the ears off Wilder. And you saw the knockout power he had as well. So I think him and Joshua would make a great fight.
But news for you. The Hearn boxing promoter tweeted today. That's why I was scrolling there. Dylan White v Tyson. Well, Eddie Hearn said, Dylan White v Tyson Fury, anyone? Think something's going on with Joshua there? Think
I
so?
don't know.
Think
I
that's
think
mind games?
I don't think it's that. It might be, but I think it's. Was it not to do? Dillian White was meant to have the rematch coming up with Povetkin, but Povetkin's tested positive. So Dillian White's still looking for a fight, and I think Eddie Hearn's offered Tyson Fury to him. So
we all want to see Fury v Joshua, don't we? And it's getting to the point now. Like, Eddie Hearn's good, but he's messing. He's very good at what he does, and he's very good at matchmaking. He's messing the boxers about more so with scrambling their heads with all these tweets, because it's not the first time we've seen it, but might be a case of money. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, so
I know.
It's very interesting that we've seen him tweet that today. Dillian White v Tyson Fury. Anyone? What was on there?
I think that'd be a good build-up for Tyson Fury to go on to Anthony Joshua. You know, it gets the fans hyped up, because you've obviously saw Joshua and White fight. You saw Dillian White get knocked out by Povetkin. So anything can happen in heavyweight boxing, and we might actually see Tyson Fury versus Dillian White.
We've been waiting on it for ages, but like, how long have we been waiting on this now?
Years.
Tyson Fury v. It's getting to the point now. It's a bit similar to going back in the UFC. It's a bit similar to McGregor. Promoters, it's all about money. Fighters, they can't agree on money. It's just frustrating. You're waiting on the fight that everybody wants, and it's not happening. In years, it's, as you said, it's years we've been waiting. Why?
You'd think the fights would be so easy to make, like 2 fighters for the UK, put it in Wembley or something, you know. But I think there's so much sort of politics in boxing, and it's quite hard to make fights where it's like Anthony Joshua's with Sky and Tyson Fury's on BT. So there's lots of stuff to do with that, and then you've got the money they're getting. So there's all this different stuff. But you really wonder if you'll see the Tyson Fury and Joshua fight.
It will probably end up on DAZN. Probably will. Right, so that's all for boxing. We're going to go into a weekly topic of world sports news. So first of all, we have breaking news. Football legend Maradona has been submitted to hospital with a blood clot. Paddy, what's your take on that?
It's a bit worrying.
Not good news, is it? Not good.
No, he's a legend, and he was a great player. But you saw what he's up to nowadays in his post-football career. You know, he'd been on the drugs and whatnot, or you don't even know what's going on. So a blood clot is quite worrying.
Yeah, he was taken into hospital today. Most reports were saying it wasn't worrying. I thought it was probably just
COVID
illness, or maybe it could have been COVID. Even though he is old, maybe it could have been COVID. We're just guessing at the moment, but later on it's been advanced and they've said that it is a blood clot. So probably is a gear, to be honest. It's probably cocaine, isn't it?
Aye, it's true.
With the amount that man sniffing, you seen him at the World Cup, Jesus, man.
Aye,
sniffed half his life away. So
it's a shame to see, and you hope it's not nothing too bad.
It's a bit like, well, I wouldn't say he's as bad as Gascoigne. I don't think he's in the same level, but with all the drug abuse and stuff, it's not good to see after being such a legend of the sport. And you don't want to see it, but hey, all health to Maradona. I really do hope he recovers, and by the time you see this, hopefully he could be out of hospital. I just hope he does recover. You don't want anything more serious than that bad blood clot there. I hope his surgery goes well. Another interesting bit of news this week. Did you see the NFL? The incident with Javon Wims?
I saw a video on my Instagram, mate. A guy sucker punched him, didn't he? I don't know what happened there.
It's madness, by the way.
Do you know what happened?
So, what's happened is, apparently, Gardner Johnson spat on him during the game. Whether that's happened or not, I don't know. But I was watching it live, actually. And Wims is literally, out. He's not even part of the play. Wims has literally just ran up to him. I don't know what he's done. I think he's pulled him, and then he just dink. This is perfect for the UFC chat, obviously. But he's got his helmet on. He's got his helmet on. He's not got hard gloves on. He's got soft gloves, and he just walks up, and just dink. And then another one, I think he hits him right this time. Just starts smashing him, and then a big brawl came over, and it was chaos. So it's utter madness. But we've seen this week he gets suspended for 2 games, which
quite right off the ball, and he's throwing punches. There's no need. We don't know what's happened. They might have said something. Might have said something about his mum, or might have spat.
I know. Well, that's the reports are. I think he's trying to cover up saying he spat on him, but then again, why would you say that? Why would you come out and do that? Why would, in the middle of a live game, the whole country's watching, why would you go for somebody and just start smashing into them? Like, this wasn't no slap. This was hitting with 2 lefts and a right, and it was full scale hooks. And then he's walking about after it, going like that, as if he's kicking about the hoods. Aye, walking about giving it a swagger. So, and it looked as if Gardner Johnson wasn't doing anything. Like, it was like he get punched first, and he just stood there, and he was like, "Whoa!" And then he get punched again, and he was like, punched again, and he was like, "Whoa!" And then the third time, he was like ducking, and then he didn't go for him at all. But Gardner Johnson's teammate came over, and he just jumped on him, and then it was a whole brawl, and it gets split up. So, aye, madness.
Quite right to get his suspension, but no need for that in sports.
Yep.
Especially not like boxing and UFC. Aside for that, shouldn't they be punching one another?
I think that was perfect for this week's sports podcast there. So we've got a whole fighting topic, haven't we?
That's it.
Fighting in the NFL. So thank you very much for joining us, Paddy. That's all from us here on the BSR Sports World podcast. I hope you enjoyed that, and please leave a comment down below as to what you thought about this week's events. Leave a comment for what you think we should do for next week's topics, and until then, it's a goodbye from me.
See you after.
Please leave a like, subscribe as well.